Right back.
During the last presidential election cycle, you publicly supported Donald Trump, and I'm wondering if you'll do so again this time around.
Well, it depends on who's running, doesn't it? And we'll have to see what happens. You know, I've always supported who I thought was the best candidate. I think Donald Trump was the last time. Whether Donald will be this time or not, I don't know. We'll wait and see. But I've been, and I don't like to brand myself as a Republican. I like to sort of brand myself as being able to think freely. And I voted for a lot of Democrats through the years as well as Republicans. And I've tried to pick a person who I think will do the best job for our country. And we've got a year and a half to wait for that to see what's going to happen.
Okay. Next question, sir. Chris, please.
I'm just curious, when they move 13 back, are they now hitting what you might have hit in your heyday into that, or is it still different even with the 35 extra yards?
I'd say I went back on the tee a couple of weeks ago and looked at it, and you know, I think he could probably still carry a few trees on the right side. I don't think he probably could carry all the trees. You could always do that from the tee up. If you turn it around the corner, you could get it into where you might be able to play a 5-iron to the green. And Fred said he played with Scotty the other day, and he did a 5-iron into the green.
Kitayama hit a 7-iron.
Did he hit a 7-iron? Well, you could do that. Kitayama did.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think Augusta, more than any place else, has probably adjusted their golf course to keep the conditions similar to what we played. Now, we played pretty much the same clubs they're playing in today from a different tee. That's what you're really asking. And 13 was the last one that they did.
Okay. Next to you, sir.
This is for all three of you. What is the biggest change that you have seen at Augusta National from when you first walked on the property to today?
Well, very simple. It's the greens. When I played here as an amateur in 1970, they were overseeded over Bermuda. So rye overseeded Bermuda. 1981, they changed it to bent grass. Frankly, that was the biggest change. They finally got it right. They had a few issues with the bent grass greens, with the slopes of the greens the first year, and they rectified that. Yeah. But it was, to me, that was the biggest change.
I think the fairways, I remember going in a playoff with Arnold Palmer in 1962, and we came to 13, and he outdrove me by 10 yards, and I looked at my ball and I said, I have a lie that I cannot go for the green. And I remember hitting my ball when I won the tournament in 61, and the trees on the right, and I couldn't have a clear shot because I couldn't move the people, and I chipped it back on the fairway and went down into the creek. The lies at number 2, the little short shots into that green, the fairways, I mean, it's just like night and day, and technology's made a massive difference to the game, the condition of the golf course. And Tom's great mentor, Byron Nelson, said one of the biggest changes is the mower. And that's so true. The conditions of the course today, I mean, we had a man called Bobby Locke, who in America they never regard in the top 50 top players. He's definitely in the top 15 players that ever lived. If you put him on greens like this, you would have seen putting like you've never seen by any human being. I mean, he putted on Bermuda greens and never putted on a bent green like this in his life. I mean, the greens today are like a snooker table. And for people to make comparisons of golfers, it's impossible. You can't compare different eras. It's a completely different game today than what we played. Completely different. From prize money to conditions of the golf course to modes of travel, it's a completely different game.
Okay. Thank you.
Piggybacking on Jeff's question, my interest is the green jacket specifically. And I wonder if each of you could share a story about your green jacket, or multiples, but the actual jacket.
When I first won the tournament in 1977, they donned the green jacket on me down there in Butler Cabin. And it was a 44 long. It came down below my fingertips like this. Did I care? Not in the least. I could wear a tent. It didn't matter, as long as it was a green jacket. That's my story.
Well, most of you know my story. I had a 46 long they put on me, Tom. And I was a 43 regular. And the next year I came back, and Tom Dewey's former governor of New York and ran for presidency, his coat was in my locker, and it fit me perfect. I won the Masters a few times after that, and I kept wearing Tom Dewey's coat. Finally, in 1998, the week before the tournament, I was having lunch with Jack Stevens, and I told him the story that I'd never gotten a green jacket, and I never had a green jacket. He says, "You what?" I said, "No, I've won this tournament 5 times or 6 times, and nobody's ever given me a green jacket." So I went home, came back over the weekend, and there was a note in my locker that said, "You will go to the press shop, and you will be fit for your green jacket." Thank you very much.
In 1961, I won the tournament, and obviously being the first international player to win it, I was extremely excited, to say the least. And so I take the jacket, and I'm going back to South Africa the next day, and I take the jacket with me. Now, in those days, unlike today, they go on Good Morning America, and they go out to dinner, etc., with a jacket. And so I took the jacket back home. 3 days later, the phone goes. "Good morning, Gary. This is Clifford Roberts. Did you take the jacket back home?" I said, "I did, Mr. Roberts." "Well, nobody ever takes the jacket off the ground." So I thought very quickly. I said, "Well, Mr. Roberts, why don't you come and fetch it?" And he did see the funny side of it. He said to me, "But don't ever wear it in public." I said, "I promise you I won't," and I put it in a plastic bag, and it's certainly changed today. Of course, change is the price of survival, so it's a vast different story today.